Thousands of Metro Atlanta students came together to honor and remember the Florida school shooting victims and also to call for change. Most of the children took part in school-sanctioned events, but there were some that felt the issue was so important they risked the potential for punishment to make sure their voices were heard. At Tucker High School in DeKalb County, 5 students were suspended for having their own version of a sit-in in the hallways of their school. This was after the walkout and during the normal class time. A few dozen students walked out of Gwinnett School at Math, Science, and Technology. Earlier this week, Gwinnett said that unplanned walkouts would be an unexcused absence. Then in Cobb County, we have students at Lassiter. They walked out as school administrators were watching. Our understanding is that they too will be subjected to an unexcused absence. This is one of the more recent times we've seen young people coming together in a united way, demanding change. It is obviously a message that resonates in Metro Atlanta, where the civil rights movement certainly took shape. Tonight, Joe Henke is sharing a civil rights icon's perspective of this recent movement with young people.
Melissa, former Atlanta Mayor and UN Ambassador Andrew Young says he has closely watched the movement led by middle and high school students following the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. He believes there is something unique about their current push for gun law reform, which he thinks could lead to noticeable change, with yesterday's walkouts being the first steps.
Dr. King always said that unearned suffering is redemptive. And I said these young people in Parkland have been the victims of tremendous suffering, which they did not earn.
As Ambassador Andrew Young watches millions of teenagers stand up in reaction to the shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School and find their voice during protests and through social media, he is inspired.
They are about to continue Dr. King's work of redeeming the soul of America, because their suffering of those children will not be in vain, and their classmates are going to see to that.
With school children grabbing headlines demanding school safety and gun law reform, Young sees similarities between this movement in 1963 in Birmingham, Alabama, as civil rights leaders fought to desegregate schools. Months were spent crafting the message behind the desegregation effort, and Young sees high school students today putting in the same work.
Their response has been measured, it's been rational, it's been disciplined, and I think they're thinking about what they're doing.
The student response led to walkouts Wednesday at thousands of schools across the country. At Grady High School in Atlanta, one student who organized the walkout there said their work is not over, as they now need to focus on the weeks and months to come.
Keep fighting for what we're fighting for here today, that it doesn't go away and then only comes back when another shooting happens. So just to persevere, to keep fighting, and to keep just letting our representatives know that we're not going to put up with this.
And Andrew Young added, for those who already are old enough or will be old enough, if students want to see change and legislatures aren't responding, they will also need to speak up on Election Day with votes. This afternoon, we talked with Bernice King, the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We'll have her reaction to yesterday's walkouts coming up at 6.
All right, look forward to that. Thank you, Joe.